Today I'm going to teach you 10 advanced English phrases that can instantly make your English sound more natural and sophisticated. Let's get started. Our first phrase is to embrace something. This means to accept or welcome something enthusiastically instead of resisting it. For example, schools should embrace new technology to prepare students for the future. Or, many companies have embraced flexible working hours since the pandemic. Notice that we don't just embrace technology, we can also embrace change, new ideas, innovation, or embrace new opportunities. So instead of simply saying use or accept, try embrace. It helps your English sound more positive and more sophisticated. Our next phrase is to act as something. This means to serve as or to perform the function of something. For example, online platforms such as Kahoot can act as valuable educational tools when used responsibly. Here, act as means that Kahoot performs the role of an educational tool. This phrase is extremely useful because it can be applied to lots of different topics. For example, exercise can act as a natural stress reliever. Or, volunteers often act as a bridge between local communities and charities. This phrase is suitable for both speaking and writing. So, instead of simply saying is, are, or can be, try act as. It sounds more natural and precise. Our next phrase is to stem from something. It means to originate from or to be caused by something. For example, many health problems stem from poor eating habits. Or, many environmental problems stem from excessive consumption. This is a really useful phrase because it helps you explain the cause of a problem in a much more natural way. It's suitable for both speaking and writing, and the register is semi-formal to formal. So instead of always saying originates from or is caused by, try stem from or stems from. It's a more elegant way of explaining the cause of something. Our next phrase is to dwell on something. It means to think or talk about something for longer than is helpful, especially something negative. For example, there's no point dwelling on past mistakes. Or, instead of dwelling on the problem, we should focus on finding a solution. This is a useful phrase because it helps you talk about negative situations in a much more fluent way. Instead of saying keep thinking about or keep talking about, try dwell on. It's a phrase that native speakers use all the time, especially when talking about problems or negative situations. So far, we've upgraded your verbs. Now, let's look at some phrases that can really improve the way you express your ideas. Our next expression is keen plus noun. This is a natural way of saying that somebody is very interested in or enthusiastic about something. For example, I'm a keen reader, or he's a keen chef. You could also say, I'm a keen athlete, or she's a keen moviegoer. This is a really useful phrase because it helps you talk about your hobbies in a much more natural way. You can also use keen on, followed by a noun or an ing form. For example, I'm keen on cooking. She's keen on the cinema. He's keen on photography. This is particularly useful in Cambridge exams in Speaking Part 1, where you're often asked about your hobbies, interests, and free time. Our next phrase is I'd have to say. Native speakers often use this expression when they're asked for their opinion or preference. For example, I'd have to say my favourite season is spring. Or, I'd have to say that public transport is one of the best ways to reduce traffic in large cities. This phrase softens your opinion and it makes it sound less direct. It's particularly useful in speaking, especially when you're answering opinion questions. So instead of repeatedly saying, I think, or in my opinion, try, I'd have to say. It sounds less opinionated. Our next phrase is, I would argue that. This is another really useful way of introducing your opinion without sounding too direct or opinionated. For example, I would argue that the government should invest more in public transport. Or, I would argue that technology has improved our way of life. If you're writing an essay, you could also use it could be argued that, which sounds more formal than I would argue that. It's especially useful in Cambridge and IELTS exams where you're expected to develop and justify your opinions. So instead of repeatedly saying, I think, or in my opinion, try, I would argue that, or it could be argued that. These sound less opinionated and more considered. Our next phrase is an estimated plus a number plus a noun. We use this phrase when we're talking about approximate figures or statistics. For example, an estimated 5.2 billion people around the world use social media. Or, an estimated 20,000 people attended the music festival. This is a really useful phrase. Use it instead of simply saying about or approximately. It helps you introduce statistics in a more academic way. This next set of phrases is particularly useful for describing trends in data. If you're preparing for IELTS Writing Task 1, you'll need expressions like these all the time. For example, the number of electric vehicles has risen dramatically over the past decade. You can also use the noun instead of the verb. There has been a dramatic increase in the number of electric vehicles. You can also describe a downward trend. The number of smokers has fallen sharply over the past 20 years. Or there has been a significant decrease in smoking among young people. You can easily adapt these phrases by changing the adjective. For example, there has been a slight increase in. There has been a steady increase in. There has been a gradual increase in. There has been a dramatic decrease in. There has been a significant decrease in, etc. These expressions are suitable for both speaking and writing, and the register is semi-formal to formal. Our final phrase is never has it been more important to. This is a powerful way of emphasizing that something is more important now than ever before. For example, never has it been more important to protect the environment. Or, never has it been more important to think critically about the information we read online. This structure is called inversion, and it's an excellent way of making your English sound more advanced. It's suitable for both speaking and writing, and the register is semi-formal to formal. So instead of saying it's more important than ever, try saying never has it been more important to. It sounds much more powerful. Before you go, here's a bonus phrase for those of you who have stayed until the end. The likes of which have not been seen before. We use this expression to describe something completely unprecedented. For example, climate change will bring about challenges, the likes of which have not been seen before. This phrase is suitable for both speaking and writing, and the register is formal. In the right context, such as an essay or an academic discussion, it can make your English sound far more developed. Why not try to put these phrases into practice? Choose one of today's expressions and write your own example in the comments below. I'll be reading them and I'll give feedback where I can. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.